All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's or morning, wherever you are in the world. It happens to just be 12 p.m. here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. Welcome to today's sales webinar, or should I say sales training. We're actually switching things up a little bit going forward in terms of the type of content that we're delivering to you. My name is Rylan Morris. I'm the training facilitator here at Vendasta. So my role essentially is to help a lot of our new hires get acquainted with what we do at the company here. We have two new hires today. We've been growing like crazy. And for any of you that watches us on LinkedIn or in the media or anything like that, we're actually looking to hire roughly another 100 people at our company here before the end of the year. So we can't grow fast enough, as our CFO, Mike Brennan, puts it here. So it's great to be part of that growth. And I hope that some of the content that I typically deliver to these new hires is of value today, because I'm going to go through some of that with this training webinar this afternoon on reputation management. Sales training session, not a webinar. We're not calling them webinars anymore. Sales training session this afternoon. That's my contact information. If you have any questions after today's session, feel free to get a hold of me. The best way is probably email. I've gotten a lot of emails, a lot of questions in the past, whether you're watching this live right now or via YouTube. So before I get started, I just want to make sure that everyone can hear and see me loud and clear. So if you want to just shout out in the question box there, just to make sure that you can see my mouse moving around, you can see the screen here. Awesome. Thanks, Billy. Thanks, Robert. Paul, all looks good. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and get started. Before I even do that, before I jump into that, I just want to remind you all about the Product Insider. There should be one going out this week. This is, of course, our single source of truth for Vendasta in terms of all of the latest and greatest, all the software updates. We include a lot of neat stuff in there in terms of marketing collateral. Excuse me. Last week, we actually included some information on our first ever conference, which was VendastaCon in Texas. And that was really fantastic. If you haven't read that one already, go back and dig through your emails there and see if you can find it, because it just recaps a lot of the great presentations that we had hosted there. This week's Product Insider, though, I have a really special announcement to talk to you all about, and that's the new Gen video. So we've actually created a fully animated ad for you to use during your prospecting and sales process at your agency. It's all unbranded. It's all talking about different areas of digital marketing that business could benefit from. So we try to keep it applicable to anything that would apply to a business. We kind of talk about listings. We talk about reputation in particular as well. But it's really fantastic, and I'd like to actually share this link with you right now. So be on the lookout there in the chat box. I'm going to share this right from our resource center here. This is a fantastic video. Our videographer from marketing here, his name's John Miller, did a really great job with it. So check out the chat box right there, and you should see a link to that video. So feel free to download this and use this as any sort of or any place on your website. You can embed it. I'll just show you quickly how that's done. Oh, sorry, I might be having some technical difficulties here. Let me try refreshing the page here. There we are. So if you want to embed it, I'm not going to play it for you right now just because it's a little choppy if I play it over GoToWebinar here. But you'll notice in the share control box right here, you can embed and download this video and use it however which way you want. If you want to download it and send it to your clients or prospects, embed it on your website. This is a really fun, exciting video that talks about businesses' online reputation, about digital marketing in general, some of the challenges that business owners might face. You can see the frowny face that Jen has here in this frame when it comes to using digital marketing solutions. So I hope you're all excited about that. That is actually going to be sent out in this week's Product Insider. So here's a look at what that might look like, along with all this other great information on some of the new features that are coming to the platform. What do we got here? Listing distribution, subscriptions, auto renewal. That's exciting if you're selling listing distribution. Reviews on health grades are being pulled in now if you have any health and medical businesses in your platform through reputation management. Activate products for your clients in bulk. A lot of, this list goes on. Look at all the awesome stuff we're releasing this week. So be up to date on that. Check out the Product Insider to get that info. Great, and I'll just quickly mention here our resource center. So support.vendasta.com is a great place to get also a lot of great training collateral. So if you want to actually check out the deck that I'm using in this week's webinar, you can actually get that in our resource center. And I'll show you where you can get that here. All of our webinars and the associated slide decks that come with the webinars, along with all the great notes that are in the slide deck to help your salespeople talk intelligently. It's actually all available at support.vendasta.com. All you have to do is head over to the resource center in the bottom left corner here. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, don't worry, you can don't skip by everything that you see at the top here. There's a lot of great resources here, including that Jen video that I just pointed out. Oh, sorry, I'm actually in the wrong spot entirely. For webinars don't live in resources. They actually live in our knowledge base. So this is where not our unbranded stuff, but this is where the Vendasta training type material is located. And the sales webinars, or we should call them sales sessions, training sessions, are available right here. So you'll see this first ever sales training session available here, along with the deck that I'm using today. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to shout them out right now in the question box. I'll get to the questions towards the end of the webinar here. Don't be afraid to, if something comes up as I'm going through today's sales training session, if something comes up to the top of your head, just go ahead and shout it out. I'm not going to stop my presentation here to go to the questions. I'm going to wait till the end of the session here, but yeah, we'll definitely be able to get to all those questions here. So today's sales training session is going to be all about how to sell reputation management. We're starting things off on something that you might actually know quite a lot about already. A lot of our partners come to Vendasta to actually, for the sole purpose of reselling our reputation management solution. Reputation, of course, is very, very important to businesses nowadays. You go look at a business on Google, any sort of search engine, you see reviews associated with that business. And the difference between a business having a 3.5-star overall rating versus a 5-star rating is monumental. That really does determine a lot of traffic that people actually going right into that business. I'm more of a 4-star kind of guy. I know I've mentioned this in previous webinars, but when I look at businesses online, I look to look for 4-star or higher businesses, people that do have a good online reputation, because I know I'm going to get great service from them. If I see 3.5 or heaven forbid, 2, something lower than that 4-star rating, chances are I might just look at the next business on the list there. And I know a lot of people share that sentiment. A lot of consumers do it even subconsciously. They don't even realize that they're just choosing the businesses that have good overall review ratings. And you're so clearly able to see which businesses outperform the others for their online reputation, really anywhere on the web. So selling reputation isn't, in my opinion, that difficult, because you have a lot of tools through Vendasta that help identify pain points in a business's online reputation. The main one being, of course, the snapshot report. You also have the ability to show off a demo of reputation management through our platform, and I can show you a little video that you can jump into later if you're interested in learning more about that. I'm not going to get into that today. But you also have this wonderful slide deck that I'm about to share with you. So this is going to be available again in our resource center after the webinar today. You can share or use this sales presentation that I'm going to be using. And there's a lot of fun, interesting facts in here. Really does kind of spark the attention of a business owner, and gets them thinking about some of the stuff they can do to improve their online reputation and what it means to be a business in this digitally powered world. So it's a great resource, and we encourage you to actually go back and take a look at a lot of our old webinars, a lot of our old sales training sessions, and look at our old slide decks and repurpose the slide decks. They're just all in PowerPoint format. Use them during your pitches, during your sales presentations, because everything we build, we want to have available to our partners. It's kind of the added benefit of being a Vendasta partner here is you get all this fantastic collateral that we put out. So again, I just want to quickly mention before we even get into this, we're changing our webinars to more of a training approach, less about just taking you through the product. We really want to be specific on specific parts of our platform and really help you train and learn and alleviate maybe some of that pressure from some of our partner success managers. This just really allows you to jump on a webinar if you want to learn specifically about something very, very targeted and focused versus kind of going through a whole lot of our platform like we used to in a webinar. So you can see there's some of the upcoming sessions that we have here. So reputation management, which it says tomorrow, but it's actually, you're on it today. Here we are, February 22nd. But next week, we're going to do a section on selling, how to sell local listing solutions, Past that, the following week, we have social tools and strategy. So all very sales focused. And you can also sign up for our we have product training sessions as well. So that's going to be at the same time, if you're familiar with our product webinars, all on specific, very targeted parts of our platform. So hopefully you find a lot of value in that. So here's a quick introduction that you can go through with your prospect if you want to get them excited about just digital in general, digital marketing in general. This was actually put together by Nakia. She's one of our directors of content. She did a great presentation at Vendastacon. If you go look at our content library on our website, she did a fantastic presentation in person, and she got a really arousing. She told this joke, and everyone really laughed at it quite a bit. It was really quite funny. So I encourage you to go watch it. She's a great personality, and she does a really good job with managing a lot of the content stuff that we put out. If you're familiar with the Vendasta blog, a lot of that's done by her. So she did a really good job putting this together, and this is something that you can use directly from Nakia here. So one thing you want to point out to your prospects is that we now live in a world that's in constant change. So these are just really interesting facts about how digital has really changed a lot of these traditional industries. So if we go from left to right here, Uber is the world's largest taxi company, but they actually don't own a single taxi. So how do they do it? Well, of course, the power of technology, the power of apps, the powers of and people engaging through digital. Airbnb is now the largest accommodation provider, and they don't own any real estate. So really quite fantastic. And, just the power of digital. There's a recent news story that went out where the owner of Airbnb, or the CEO of Airbnb, for anybody that was kind of stuck during the Trump travel ban recently, they were providing free accommodation for anyone that was kind of in the middle of travel and kind of stuck during that hectic time period. So they were able to do that because of the power of technology. Not just any hotel chain would be able to do that, but because they are an accommodation provider that doesn't own a single place, they have the ability to connect with people all over the world, and of course, pay the people that have the actual accommodation. So really quite interesting. Facebook, of course, we're all familiar with Facebook, largest media owner in the world, which is pretty surprising to me, right? We think of some of these media giants in the past, back in the Mad Men days, where there's people producing content. Not so much anymore. It's all user generated now. It's all done directly through Facebook. It's not done by an actual firm anymore. So the largest media owner creates no content. Of course, that's Facebook. Alibaba, another really great example. You could, if you want to replace this maybe with Amazon, I'm sure that's a good example as well. Amazon kind of is an exception because they do have their own inventory, but Alibaba is, in fact, the largest digital retail out there right now. If you aren't familiar with Alibaba, I would encourage you to go check them out. You can check out actually their more consumer-y facing website at aliexpress.com. That's where you can buy more or less individual solutions. But again, the largest retailer in the world, they actually don't have any inventory. Alibaba is a place that is just connecting retailers or wholesale retailers all over the world to other individual buyers. And of course, on the right-hand side there, if you're like me, Netflix is king. I love Netflix. I'm a cord cutter. I'm part of that generation where I actually don't have any cable. The only thing I struggle with really is watching sports live. But for everything else, I use Netflix. And the largest TV network, they have no cable. They lay no cable, which is a really surprising fact to a lot of people. And again, this slide here is to get people excited, to get your prospects excited about the concept of digital. You're a traditional business that has a brick and mortar location. How are you going to inject yourself into this landscape here? And there's a lot that you can do. One thing you also want to connect with your customers about is this idea that consumer buying decisions are made online. So since 2012, you'll notice here, it's really drastically gotten smaller, where people are actually going directly into the store to buy something after they see something on television, they see something in the newspaper, whatever, they see a print ad or see some sort of traditional marketing. They instead are directed to look up the product online or look up the service online. So you'll see some stats here on the right-hand side. In 2016, so relevant stat, just this past year, 92% of consumers read online reviews before entering a business. 92% is a fairly high number. So if you don't have any reviews at your business, it's maybe something you want to start thinking about. If you have negative reviews, again, something you want us to think about there. And I fall into that bottom statistic there. 94% of consumers would use a business with a 4-star rating. I'm a 4-star kind of guy, like 94%. I'm part of the majority here where I would prefer to go to a business with a high rating versus a lower rating. And just going back to that point I made earlier about how consumer buying decisions online, here's a concept that you really want to convey to your customers: the zero moment of truth. This is something or a study that Google did in 2011, and it really still rings true today. I think more than ever, actually, it applies to 2017. It's crazy how it's been almost 6 years since they made this study, or over 6 years since they made this study, and it still even applies. Well, it applies more today than it ever has at any point in time. What happens is, if you're providing stimulus to some sort of like traditional advertising to your clients, you should also be thinking about providing them something that helps with that zero moment of truth, that point where the consumer, after they're prompted to think about that product or service, maybe it's through maybe they're some sort of search engine marketing campaign that your client shows up, or maybe they're paying for a radio spot, or maybe they have print ads in play. Any sort of stimulus leads consumers to research the product afterwards. It's not how it used to be, where you would see a commercial on the television for Coca-Cola, and it would be, hey, come buy a Coke at the corner store for 25 cents or however much they were back in the day. And they're really salesy. If you remember how commercials used to be, really forcing you to go to the store and buy that product. It doesn't work like that anymore, because people don't just, as soon as they see the commercial, get off their couch, get into their vehicle, and drive down to the store to buy a Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is kind of a bad example. We'll use, say, the latest MacBook that was just released, and there's an ad on Best Buy on the television, for Best Buy on the television. People don't, if they see the MacBook is available at Best Buy, they aren't necessarily going to go directly to Best Buy after they see that ad to purchase that MacBook. They do research first, right? They look online for MacBooks. They look at reviews. They might see that Best Buy might have, well, hopefully they have a lot of positive reviews. I used to work for Best Buy, and it's a great place to be. But, in the case that they might have negative word of mouth, that's going to influence where consumers make that buying decision. If they actually end up going to the store, which is also something they're competing with, right, is online retailers. But if they actually decide to drive to that store, they're still making that purchase at the first moment of truth. Their in-store experience is a little bit different nowadays. They aren't necessarily communicating and talking with a salesperson and getting a brochure and all that stuff, and trying to figure out what they want, because they already know what they want when they go into the store and make that buying decision. They've done all their research online, and if they don't have, this particular business doesn't have all their ducks in a row when it comes to their online reputation, when it comes to the right information being displayed when they show up on search results. Maybe the consumers are getting incorrect information, and they don't necessarily know what they want when they walk into that store to make that buying decision. And if that's the case, that could translate into a poor experience, a poor user experience. And when someone does, and that's at the second moment of truth here, so if you look all the way on the far right here, when that does happen, that unfortunately leads to now word of mouth is more easily spread now more than ever, with the advent of Facebook, tweets, being able to share information through blogs or just SMS messaging. Like, it's really easy to share your experience with products and services, even just like businesses in general, with friends and family, with consumers. And, it's not just people that it's everyone, right? Anyone else who's looking for those reviews or looking for information about that business. All of your experience at the second moment of truth with the product, service, or business, that becomes the next person's zero moment of truth. So that becomes the next point where people come in and do their research and look at the business, and they see that maybe you had a bad experience, or hopefully you had a good experience, and then they instead might choose to purchase from somewhere else or go someplace else. So really, really important. And when you're conveying this to a prospect or this concept to a prospect, try to use examples that would be related to what they're currently doing at their business. So hopefully your salesperson has done a little bit of research on the business. They know already that what kind of traditional advertising they're participating in, if any. They know what kind of website they have. Perhaps they ran a snapshot report. They have a really good idea of what this business needs. And through there, they can give examples that would make sense to the business. So if you're talking about a plumber, for example, people look online when they look for a plumber, right? Even if the plumber has really good word of mouth, as a lot of service professionals do, where you're getting a recommendation from a friend or a family member. Recently for myself, I actually got a recommendation from my landlord of a cleaning lady actually to come. Not that my house is super messy or anything like that, but just it was just a unsolicited recommendation of a cleaning lady to come to my house once a month. And I was like, okay, sure, but I still, in order to look her up and find her, I still had to go online to find her phone number and look her up and look up her business. And she was very difficult to find online. And luckily I was able to kind of dig through and get that phone number to give her a call. But there was a lot of other cleaning businesses that were coming up that I was inclined to call as well that also had very good feedback and very good reviews and very competitive price points. So regardless of the type of business that you're prospecting to, and you want to convey this zero moment of truth point in a way that makes sense to the business that they are, use real examples, use something, ask them, have a conversation. Just don't tell them like I'm telling you right now. Don't just be this voice that is talking and talking and talking, going on about how important this is. Ask them about these points, these different points of this study, and see if you can really kind of connect the dots with them. So I hope you find that helpful. So what does this all mean? Let's just go even deeper into the zero moment of truth and talk about what that process is actually like. So paid media, that's who are you as a business. That's where people learn about your business nowadays. We have a couple of examples there for McDonald's and Burger King in the bottom right-hand corner. So please do not eat the billboard. There's an example of a chicken sandwich that they're selling. If we go back to the zero moment of truth here, this study here, this is the initial stimulus, and this still applies here. Next, we're going to get dive deeper into the zero moment of truth point, where the consumer is doing their research. And that's actually almost all of the next 4 points at the bottom here. So it leads to then listings. So when someone is prompted to learn more about your business, they start doing their research on search engines and they see if they can find you. So are you listed everywhere where you should be listed? And if you're not, then that's annoying to consumers who are trying to find you on those places, whether it be Yelp or Health Grades, or in the case of McDonald's, maybe it's Zomato, or maybe it's TripAdvisor. I really don't know where. Likely Yelp, someplace where a restaurant would be located, and you can see they're so annoying, can't find their location. Of course, if consumers think that or feel that, they might look for somewhere else to get that chicken sandwich from. Zero moment of truth also ties into their reputation. Are you trusted as a business? Wherever you have a listing, chances are you have reviews on that listing, or you can receive reviews on that listing. And if you have negative reviews on that listing, those all come up when the business is found. So I see bad reviews with no responses. It looks like this in this example, maybe the business isn't very, very proactive with their review response. And again, if that's the case with your business, hopefully you've done your research as a salesperson and you've looked at the types of reviews that came in for this type of business and see if they've been responding to those reviews or not. This is where you can really start thinking about what kind of product or service you can sell this business owner. Hey, we have a managed review service. We can start responding to those reviews for you. Let's come up with a solution that's going to make sense to really increase your reputation. So at this point, in this sales cycle for your customers, they know that they can trust you as a brand. Next up is social, of course. So are you well liked? Are you engaging your customers? Are you making that connection, and are you exciting them with some of the content that you're posting? So we have here an example, yuck, a distasteful political post. So I was walking a little bit of a fine line there when I brought up that point about Trump's travel ban here. It's not quite great in any sort of circumstance to talk about any sort of political point when you're a business, unless really that plays to your audience. So take a look at their social media, see how they're engaging their customers. Hopefully that information is brought forward on the snapshot report. You can see if the business has a lot of likes, has a lot of followers on Twitter, and you have that ability to sell them maybe perhaps a solution that does work for their online reputation at that point in the zero moment of truth. And then their website. So how easy is it for the consumer to convert? So this might be a little bit beyond just selling reputation here. But, of course, that translates into what consumers, their perception of the business is. Is the website so slow to load, as the example says down there? A clunky, non-mobile responsive website, that says a lot about a business. And it's not just the experience of getting someone from point A to point B on their website. It's about the, surprising and delighting people and really showing them that your business is a quality business that has a really good quality website and a really good experience. And that's going to be reflected when you actually enter that business. In Saskatoon here, actually in the same building that Vendasta is located in, the Vendasta headquarters, it's called the Avenue Building. It's a historical building here in Saskatoon. We actually own basically every single floor here. Like, it's mostly all Vendasta. But what's really neat is when you walk into the front doors, there's actually a barber with a single chair. She's a smaller business, really, really small area, but she has a small business called 11th Hour. If you want to look her up online, you just look up 11th Hour Barber Saskatoon. She actually has a really fantastic website. It's very simple. It's very well put together. It does exactly what you need to do in order to convert those customers into people walking in the front door and getting their hair cut. But what I found really interesting about the website is that it's very reflective of the type of business she has. She's in a historical building. It's a very nice area to walk into, and because of that, it's reflected on her website. And she can charge a little bit of a premium with that too. So she can actually charge a bit more because of the experience that you get when you go in there. So I thought that was a really good example of a website that can convert people very, very well because they do a really good job of proving their reputation online as a business. It really connects to the type of business they are in store. So this is another great set of slides that you may want to show to your clients, to your prospects. One thing to point out is that at any point in this zero moment of truth, in this time when the consumer is researching the business, if things don't really line up, so in this case, if we find out that the reviews for the business are poor, you're basically just going to drive the person doing the research to the competition. And it works, I can give you an example for each of these points here, but you can think about it. Really, it works at any of these points. If I have bad reviews, I look at other businesses on Google, or if I see a business has bad reviews, I look at other businesses on Google that are in the same category, and I go to those businesses instead. It's as simple as that. If I see that they're posting distasteful things on social media and they're not really engaging their customers, I can just as easy look at the next business on the list there and see how they're engaging. So same goes with listings, right? If I'm looking for a particular type of business on Google and I'm trying to find their Google listing, Google's going to show me results no matter what. So it's going to show me the next best result if it can't find you. So that you better have good listings as a business. So hopefully you can use this slide deck and you can use this information to kind of close a lot of business here. I think this does a really good job kind of describing why it's important to be involved in digital. So the fastest way to increase your budget is to use someone else's budget. Again, we talk about the 4 pillars of the virtual doorway in this slide deck here, how your reputation is your digital shadow. It follows you everywhere you go. Very, very important that you are aware of that as a business owner. The virtual doorway is also on social. We talk about how important social is and how explosive social media has been over the past few years. Some interesting stats along the bottom there, just to give some context of how many users are on some of these platforms here. I always like to show this to, or I would like to show this to a business owner just to kind of get them excited about the amount of people they could potentially reach just by using a multitude of these platforms. Again, this is a really good slide that you can use in your sales pitching and whenever you're selling, try to sell reputation. We also have a short version here. So I'm going to actually just open this up here really quick and show you This slide deck that you can get at our resource center, this introduction I went through, really fantastic. Again, you can copy any of these slides that you like, use them in your own sales pitch and sales presentation. We want to encourage you to do that. None of these slides, as far as I know, say Vendasta or anything on them. And each of them actually have notes along the bottom. So you notice here I actually have notes available. I'm not reading them. I don't ever read notes when I do a webinar. And hopefully your salespeople can get to that point as well, where they can kind of speak at this like a second nature. But if you want to have something to lean on, there's a lot of notes, a lot of details for each of these slides when you go through. So there's a short version of this sales pitch, sales presentation that we can go through as well. I'm not going to go over that just because I hopefully you guys can explore that. I'm going to actually jump into this longer version here. So we talked about reputation. There's some information here that we went through earlier, how 97% of consumers find local businesses info on the web, and they make decisions based on what online reviews say. So really quite important. We go into how to respond to negative reviews. If you've been with us before, we've definitely talked about the importance of responding to reviews. I'm actually going to share with you a piece of collateral in our resource center that I like to share with everyone new at Vendasta here. I think it's a really fantastic video. It's how to respond to reviews. So it's actually in our unbranded resources, how to respond to reviews. It's an unbranded video that we put together, and it's with Magda here from our digital agency, but we don't mention Vendasta at all. You can actually use it for your own digital agency if you do provide a managed review service that isn't through Vendasta. That you're just doing in-house yourself. You can still use this video to get people excited about why it's important to have your reviews responded to. So I'll share that throughout everyone right now. I'm just going to send that in the chat box. Let me know if you have any questions with that. So there's more to this slide deck here, and I just want to quickly go over some of the assets again. We do have videos on reputation management specifically. This video we just put together is a 90-second quick overview. One of our larger partners actually asked for this, and they found a lot of traction with it. Just because during a sales pitch or a sales presentation, once you go through a lot of these different details that I've been through at the top here, once I've gone through how the importance of getting people excited about digital and why reputation is important to a business. Often businesses want to see what the solution is, right? They want to know what kind of technology do you have? What does it look like? How does it work? And there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can do a live demonstration of reputation management if you'd like to, or you can use this 90-second video to get people excited. It's kind of a crossbreed between a training video and a marketing video. It's not quite, I wouldn't consider it a training video by any means, because it kind of just blows by everything super, super quickly. For those of you that are familiar with a reputation product, you likely know there's a lot of sort of ins and outs to it, a lot of little nuances, a lot of things you can do with it. You can monitor your listings, you can generate more reviews, you can respond to reviews, you have mentions, the list goes on and on. And to get into a lot of those details, there's actually a longer video that you can share with your clients once they've actually signed up. But for the sake of this webinar, we're talking about sales, we're talking about selling. This is a great little video that you can share out with your clients to kind of close and seal the deal there on some just explaining some of the technology you have. So 90 seconds long, and let me just share that with you as well. Just have lots of gifts for you today. So that's just in the chat box there too. So that's all I'm going to go through today with today's webinar. I know there's more to this slide deck here, but we're kind of cutting it. I want to leave some time for questions here. This slide deck is going to be all available, of course, in our resource center, along with all of our other resources. If you're considering or thinking about what your go-to-market strategy is for reputation management, you need a little bit of help with that. A really good person to reach out to is your partner success manager. So definitely contact your PSM here at Vendasta, is what we call them here internally. They're going to be able to help you with that go-to-market strategy and figure out exactly what the best way to position reputation management, perhaps in a package or a bundle that it is that your agency is already selling. How does that integrate with the rest of your products and services that you're already selling to different agencies? So I'm going to open up the floor to questions. Does anyone have any questions? Let's see. Oh, great. There's a lot of questions here. Let me just open up my window here really quick and keep them coming. I have 25 minutes here, so we have lots of time to answer a lot of these. So let's start with a question from Glenn. Good old Glenn. Glenn here. I actually was the partner success manager way back in the day right when we were starting that program. So it's great again to see you on the webinar here, Glenn. Rylan, he asks, if I sell a DIY solution, where are the training videos so my client can learn to use the platform? And any plans to link the unbranded training videos so that when the clients log in, or to the client's login page, or do I need to build my own member site to hold training material? Yeah, absolutely, Glenn. So I'll show you where those training videos are. So I know you might be asking one or two different things, and we'll just cover them both here. So in our resource center, support.vendasta.com, the first page here, you actually see products and solution, and we actually have unbranded training videos up here now on each of the core solutions through Vendasta. So we have one here on reputation management, social marketing, and listing builder. This reputation management one is actually the 10-minute version of the 90-second video I just sent out to everyone. So this video actually goes through all the ins and outs of using reputation management. However, there's a little bit of a problem that we face with adding these videos directly into the platform, and hopefully you can understand why. Just because a lot of our partners have different features turned on and off. So for example, we have one partner, or we have lots of partners actually, that don't use review generation. So in this training video, we mention review generation, or the way to generate reviews with reputation management. So unfortunately, this video wouldn't apply to that particular partner. So when their clients log in, if they had this video on the platform, it wouldn't, it would show review generation, and they don't actually have that available as a feature, so it wouldn't really quite line up quite correctly. So we need to build a lot of different versions of these videos in order to successfully, check all the bases, check all the boxes for what features you have enabled and disabled for each of our products here, each of our core products. However, under resources here, we've kind of begun to do that. Under unbranded product training videos, you'll notice here that we have versions with review generation, specifically for reputation management, with review generation, without review generation. We have a video specifically on review generation. The list goes on. So we're looking at building more of these and actually hopefully one day adding them to the product once we have the capability to really kind of match up the right video to the right partner depending on what features they have turned on and what features they have turned off. So that's specifically on the product side of things. So I'm using reputation management. I get a reputation management training video, social marketing training video. But I know that you might be asking here, Glenn, as well as just Business Center in general. So if you're selling DIY, you're getting your clients to log into Business Center. And we hope to one day not really have to include a lot of training videos in Business Center. Hopefully, it's more of an explorative type approach. And we're kind of going down that road where we have the marketplace packages that you can build out and display now in your store within Business Center. And it leaves the business owner to explore and to click on things and to learn more and hopefully send those hot lead notifications to the salesperson who can then maybe give that business owner a call and start that conversation with them. So there might not be videos specifically on Business Center that you'll see in the future and how to use Business Center, but hopefully it's more of like a hopscotch type thing or something where you log in and you really have a clear idea of where to click and where you are and what this is that you're experiencing here as a business owner. So at this point, if you'd like to use these reputation videos, these unbranded product training videos here, Glenn, you mentioned, do I need to build my own microsite or something? Yeah, unfortunately, you do kind of at this point. You can host them on your own website. Any of these videos you can embed and download just by clicking the links right here. I would encourage you even to look at just using a My Listing page to host these videos. If you just want a cheap, free solution, I've actually seen quite a few partners actually just do that. They can just direct people to that page specifically. So I hope that answers your question there, Glenn. Please let me know if you'd like to for me to dive deeper into that. All right, I got a question here from Robert. So his question is, other than the PowerPoint, is there a shorter PDF sell sheet for rep management like Listing Builder, etc.? I believe there is. There should be, and I'll show you where that is located here. So I'm back in the resource center. I'm just gonna go from square one here, Robert. So this is just support.vendasta.com. If I scroll down to resources, you'll notice that we have unbranded product brochures on the right-hand side. So if we click on see all 13 articles, here's the unbranded product brochure for reputation management. I believe this is just in PDF format. Actually, why don't we just take a look at it right now? Perfect, here you are. So we provide you the PDF version, but obviously we want to make sure that it's you can edit it and make changes based on the type of services that your agency is actually selling. A lot of our partners call reputation management something completely different, Reputation Station or Rep Pro, whatever you're white labeling and selling it as. So there's a PowerPoint version that you can download to make those changes and to save as a PDF yourself. So let me just send you actually that link here, and I'll just send it to everyone in the chat box so you can just jump right to that point there, Robert. Oop, there we go. Cool. So let me know if that answers your questions, if that was what you were looking for there, Robert. All right, David. David has a question here. Thanks again for joining our webinar, David. Okay. I don't know if I can actually mention that on the webinar today. But thank you, David, for that. That is great. It's for our cord cutters out here. He's providing me with some information to help me with my cord cutting woes. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't believe I can share that out. But I really appreciate it. Moving right along, let's talk about a question here from Tara. So how can I find these slides? So the slides from today's sales webinar. I'm going to show you just from square one again here, Tara. So our resource center, we're just at support.vendasta.com. You scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll notice that there's this knowledge base section here. This is where we have a lot more than just the slides to our old webinars and training series. This is where you can get a lot more information just on getting started with Vendasta as well. So if I click here and go all the way to the bottom, you notice we have two different sections here for sales training and product training. And any of the links that you click on, so here's the one that I did last week for selling the right packages for your agency. You'll get the beautiful mugshot of me. Well, that's really zoomed in. Wow, okay. But yeah, you'll have the ability to rewatch the webinar. And then if you like the slides, just like the looks of the slides, and you think you want to borrow some of that collateral through us, the PowerPoint is just below here. And that's with every single webinar. So this one, we're not calling this one a webinar anymore, but this training series that you see here will be posted in our resource center very, very shortly. And you can get that PowerPoint as soon as possible. I'll point out here, if we click back, if you click on any category in our resource center, so if I click on sales webinars here, you guys can actually follow any updates for any articles that we have. So as soon as a new webinar or a recording of a webinar or any PowerPoint presentation is posted here, you can get an email notification sent to you right away, so you can jump on that immediately. And that actually works with any resource center article. So if I go to software updates here, this is a great place to follow the new releases section here. If I click on that, click follow, I get instant email notifications whenever we have a new release coming out, because that goes to our resource center first. So hopefully that answers your question there, Tara. So I got a question here from Tim. Can you add the link to this deck in the resource center, or is it not there yet? It's not there yet. So as soon as this webinar is over, hopefully this sales training session is over here, Tim. If you actually go ahead and just follow those instructions like I just mentioned here, just go back down to knowledge base, click on sales webinars, and then click on follow in the top right corner there, just right here. You'll be able to get an email notification as soon as this webinar is over. You'll be able to have access to that link. So I just got a follow up here from Glenn. So Glenn earlier talked about the training videos being available directly within the product, specifically for reputation management, social marketing, some of the stuff we already have in our resource center. So Glenn just mentioned here, based on my reply, then it would be great to see if we can upload our own training or marketing videos to my store, the marketplace. 100% agree. That's something actually we mentioned in our previous training. This was our marketplace webinar a couple weeks ago. So this is with Cass. Cass is part of our marketplace team, and he's part of the initiative of getting a lot of these third-party vendors into the marketplace so that they're available to you, our partners here. So he understands that this is a problem, and he knows that this is something that our product team is working on and looking into right away. So he actually talked about that a couple of weeks ago, and it's something exciting that we can look forward to in the future. Not only just being able to upload your own training videos and marketplace videos or resources to the marketplace, but more than that, like being able to customize the header and banner and images and product icons and all that great stuff. We want you to be able to sell these products exactly the way that you want. And in our first slice here with introducing some of these third-party solutions to marketplace, not a lot of that is customizable at this point, but we're definitely getting to that point. As you know, Glenn, I know you've been a partner with us for a long time. You can definitely see a lot of the improvements we've been making to the software, and hopefully you see a bright future for us for that request that you have there, because that definitely is something that we're interested in doing. Okay, great. So I have just a point here from David. I guess I'll just jump right into this. So he has a great example of a microsite that's being created at businessmarketinghelp.org. So let me just copy that link here. I haven't opened this link before, so hopefully it works out and works with this webinar. Hey, why not take a risk here? Great. Okay, so this is fantastic. So, wow, this looks really good, actually. So, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, David. But yeah, this is an example, perhaps, of a website that's really taking advantage of a lot of the collateral, the unbranded collateral that we have. So you'll notice there's a lot of these videos here. Actually, David, I hope you really like that Jen video that I just shared out at the beginning of the webinar here. I think that would make a great addition to some of the collateral that you're using on this website. So thank you so much for sharing that. Fantastic. And David just mentioned here he doesn't mind at all sharing it out. So again, thanks again, David. This is actually a really fantastic example. I'm going to share this with our other partner success managers here, and just hopefully give them some ideas on different ways that our partners can format their website. Great. Oh, so this is for your sales team, and you will be looking into that Gen video. Okay, great. So this is what you share out to your different salespeople. Okay, fantastic, for them to use during their prospecting. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. You have a lot of the different prospecting videos on here. Wow, fantastic. Okay, so it doesn't look like I have any other questions here. I'll still wait on the line here for a couple moments just to see if there's any last minute questions. Let's see if there's other questions, or let me just see if there's anything else I can talk about while we're waiting. So I've already mentioned the Product Insider, that Gen video. Maybe there's something you can dig through. So these training sessions, they are available in, if you want to see what's up and coming here, they are available in the Product Insider, just towards the bottom here. I want to touch on perhaps this product training that we have coming up. So this will be done, I believe, by Amy and Cass tomorrow. So we're talking about social-powered Wi-Fi marketing. I know I mentioned this in last week's webinar, but this is a really, really exciting new solution that we're offering. And, basically any type of client that you might have that offers or could potentially offer free Wi-Fi at their business. Think, a restaurant, a coffee shop, a dentist's office, anything like that, where people are on their phones, maybe waiting or looking for stuff, looking stuff up. This is a great solution to try and sell them. It's relatively inexpensive, and it basically allows them to use this, take advantage of people connecting their phones to that Wi-Fi network. And you'll see here as well, so the following product webinars or product training series, they're all on specific marketplace solutions. So SEO Network is the following week in March 2nd, and we have Better Video Montage after that, another great solution that you can start offering right away. So we're really focusing on streamlining our approach here for the training on specific products and services that you can start offering and selling your clients right away. Great. So let me just see if there's anything else. So Glenn here just asked, can you please post the link to the Jen video? Yeah, I'll repost it here. I believe I have it already available. Give me one. I have to recopy it here. Okay. If you want to find the Jen video, it's going to be, of course, just in our resource center. I'm going to grab the link here anyways, but I'll just show you where it is for future reference. It's under resources. All of our unbranded collateral and materials, marketing materials are all available here. So under unbranded sales and marketing videos, this is where you find that Jen video. It's right at the top here, unbranded reputation management marketing video, Jen, the business owner. You can go ahead and copy that, and I'll throw it back into the chat there. Great. So I'm just going to see if there's any other questions here. From the looks of it, no. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. So thank you again so much for joining today's first ever sales training series. Hopefully, kind of a rocky first beginning of a new type of series that we're doing, but hopefully you got a lot out of it, and look forward to getting that slide deck in the resource center. I think it's going to be really beneficial if your salespeople are doing any sort of live pitches or live presentations. The collateral we built is tried, tested, and true, works very, very well. So thanks again, and good luck with your prospecting efforts. I look forward to seeing a bunch of new reputation management accounts light up in our system here. We get all the KPIs and we see which partners are selling it. So hopefully this is of some value and able to sell to your clients and turn a profit there on some of those sources, using some of our resources. So thanks again. We'll look forward to seeing you at the same time, same place next week. We're all going to be talking about selling listings in our sales training series that week. So feel free to register for that just through our resource center or the Product Insider. You likely know the places to go to register for those webinars, so I'm not going to show you. But yeah, thanks again, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye. So I have one last question here, sorry, from David. Are we allowed to align ourselves with the Vendasta brand so we can say out? Can we say out agency partnered? Okay, sorry. Can we say our agency? There's just a typo here. Are we allowed to align ourselves with the Vendasta brand so we can say our agency partnered with a huge multi-million-dollar company that is trying to break us into the market, et cetera, et cetera? Yeah, of course, if you'd like to. We just make our solutions white labeled for our partners that are interested in keeping that veil of secrecy, but there's a lot going on at Vendasta. We have a lot of great stuff. A lot of interesting news articles about us all over LinkedIn right now. If you follow our CEO, Brendan King, on LinkedIn, he's constantly posting all that great information. So yeah, definitely, if you'd like to say that, we don't mind that at all. In fact, we would appreciate it in some aspects. So yeah, if you want to mention that you work with Vendasta, that's fantastic, David. You can rest easy knowing that we aren't going to sell to your clients or poach your clients or anything like that. That's just not something that we do at all here. If you were, I don't want to mention competitors of Vendasta, any of their names here, but I know that there's a lot of, and our partners here probably are aware of some competitors of ours that do also sell direct. So you may not want to mention, obviously, that, your partners with them, because there's a chance that they might actually get that information and, the business owner might go to them directly. We aren't going to go directly that way. So I've got another question here quickly, just before the end here from Glenn. Rylan, when someone calls Vendasta, do you pass the lead to us? How do you manage who gets the lead? So we actually don't get a whole lot of phone calls from business owners asking for reputation management. It's a very rare thing, and the reason why is that our marketing is targeted towards business owners. So we invest a lot in targeted advertising. Or sorry, not targeted towards business owners. The opposite is targeted towards agencies like you, different marketing companies. So you may have noticed that, if you came across an ad for Vendasta online, it's likely because you are an agency or media company, and we have some advanced sort of targeting going on. So we don't target business owners in any sort of aspect, and because of that, we don't typically get a lot of phone calls. But the process is kind of loose on our end. We honestly don't really have, since it's so rare that we do get those phone calls. Typically, we try to align them with a partner in the same vicinity or same area. We have partners all over the United States, all over North America, and there's a chance typically that we can look at our sheet and see who's closest or who's nearest by, and kind of align them that way. But unfortunately, there's really no fair way to do that. It's just the way that the nature of the industry, and we don't ever sell direct. We aren't going to sell directly to that business. Our platform just doesn't make sense. Our business model doesn't make sense to that. It's better for us to look at a partner in the same area and keep that partner happy versus to try and poach that individual business owner. Glenn says, send them to me. Have a great weekend. Perhaps, Glenn, if we have someone in your area, perhaps well, I'll keep you in mind here. Awesome. David says, I got to go, but great webinar. Oops, training session. Lol. Yeah, sorry, I kind of flubbed that one up a couple of times here, but I hope you all appreciated this training session. I'm going to go as well. If you have any questions, here's my contact information. We'll just bring that up again here. Oops, there I am. Shoot me an email after the webinar if you're watching this on YouTube, wherever. And feel free to get a hold of me, and we'll answer any questions you might have. But thanks again, everyone. Take care. We'll see you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye.